Do all beings have an inner master?
Well, the inner master is an inner state. It's not that all beings have an inner master, particularly. We're talking about a state of consciousness. So all beings have access to it as a state of consciousness. All beings have access to all the states of consciousness, by the way. It's the all state of consciousness. It means it applies to all and is all at its own level. So it's not an inner master as personal in a sense. We can say, to be correct, it's an impersonal state of consciousness, but it is with the individual. So the individual can tap into it, can draw from it, but it's not yourself. So that's the most important thing to remember. It's not you. It is it. It's within you in a sense. So it's not you, it's not your human nature, and all of the karmas and problems that are typical of that. The master is not a problem. It's the ultimate solution.
Do we encounter confusion in thinking some inner voice is the inner master when it's not?
Well, the minds of humans are full of voices. Remember, part of you remembers every voice you've ever heard. So it's any and every voice is liable to come through as a result of your memory. So we are part of everyone's voice. So we're part of the all voice. But what we're talking about is a state of consciousness that is much more, say, attuned to doing the right thing, see, rather than just giving you information that might be much more actually derived from your own conscience, your own mind. Now this is beyond your own mind, in a manner of speaking. It's like, who knows, but it's beyond your own mind. Because if it were in your mind, it would be easy to find that your own mind would be something you feel comfortable saying you have your own mind. But where's the inner master then? Where's the inner master in your own mind? Good question.
What conditions put us in touch with the inner master?
Conditions that are much more in touch with simplicity, clarity, and spiritual practices. And it's not that the inner master is something conditional. It's not actually conditional. But it can show up under certain conditions more than other conditions. You can have say, a contact with it. You can have like a flash of light in the eye with it. It can show up that way. But how you respond to it, how you perceive it, has something to do with what its relationship is to you, the individual. So can it break through? Do we have, let's say, the God consciousness in us? Yes. And when does it manifest? In what way? Does it manifest in the form of a belief or something? Or God has got nothing to do with belief. God is God, so there's no belief about it. You either know or you don't know what that might mean to you. Some feel it's love, some feel it's everything, and some feel it's nothing. And it's peace.
Does the inner master have a goal or function associated with it?
Its function would be awakenment and intelligence. Pure intelligence, could use the term. Everyone identifies with what they think is intelligence relative to what they know, which is based more upon culture and information than anything close to any realization that we can speak of as being really useful to human beingness.
Would you say that a enlightened person integrates their own intelligence with the inner master?
We can say that whatever enlightenment is, as a state of reality beyond self-taught mind and programming, can use anything it wants to express itself or represent itself. Yeah, say that would be related to the inner consciousness, but as a state of perfect understanding. Not as a state of information or belief, but a state of perfect understanding, which is maybe inconceivable to most. So it is flawless, it's errorless. So that's a lot to embrace. Now, what we get from within is also good karma. So you have to know when you're tapping into your own good karma and good judgment. It's got nothing to do with deity. It has nothing to do with the divine, in a sense, or with God, or with spirit, particularly. It's just common sense. We all have that.
Is, let's say, so-called conventional genius associated with the inner master?
Conventional genius? No. No. That's more part of the intellectual componentry of the human consciousness. Often, if we're speaking about a certain type of genius, it could be more intuitive, could be more unconscious, it could be more of a problem, or it could be a divine intelligence. Again, divine then would be more like the inner master's perfection. Not trained perfection, just a knowingness beyond any doubt. It's called beyond any doubt, yes. Doubtless awareness, more like the inner master. Genius is related to it. As spirit, genius as spirit is related to it. We can say genius as spirit is what it is. Then it would be contingent upon the individual's understanding what that awareness means to them, what their culture says about that, see, and how one interprets spirit. So then we're talking about the language that could be useful. It could also be beside the point. It could be irrelevant to what we're talking about. And the spirit is more in terms of the breath. Breath is more consideration relative to atomic reception and release. But not too many people are conscious of themselves at that level. It's not their practice. Atomic reception and release.
And so does an understanding of that require tuning into the inner master?
Well, you have to know what the inner master is before you can tune into it. So, if you're an ordinary human, suffering the usual karmic circumstances everyone else, the inner master is not available then. It's not accessible as such. Now you can think about it. I think it's good to think about it, know about it, but whether or not that's sufficient for you to reach it in truth and as a fact is another set of considerations. Who can reach it? Who can just tap into it? Not everybody can, otherwise we have more solution in life than problems for most people.
Does the inner master speak to beings who don't want to hear it?
Well, we can say we don't know. But from the we don't know, we can also say, well, it seems to be that which is always present and always available. It's universally present, but it is not because of perceptics, relative states of consciousness, not accessible in the same way at all times by all peeps. But yet it is the heart of everyone, but it's not as, let's say, accessible as something you can live from, as in the case of certain beings whose lives are completely dedicated and or directed to that as a fact for themselves. They're real.